Hello, my name is Madeline, and welcome to this Yin Yoga class. So, in today's class, we'll be focusing on elongating the body, especially with an emphasis on the side body. So, just with the theme of opening up, maybe you want to think of something that you want to receive. We do tend to hold a lot of tension, hunching over. So it just makes us even energetically and emotionally closed off. So hopefully by elongating the physical body, we can also create some more spaciousness in the emotional and mental body. So let's get started with a little bit of breath. We'll take 3 deep breaths just to ground into the space. And before we start too, you might want to grab a couple blocks if you like using them or any other props that you need, but not necessary for this class. So begin to exhale all the air out now. Take an inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And sigh out the mouth. Take one last inhale. And really big exhale out the mouth. And before we get into our yin poses, just do a little bit of movement, starting with some seated cat-cows. So bring the hands to the knees, and then as you inhale, start to arch the spine forward, looking towards the sky, and then round the back as you exhale. And you can continue like this, or take any kind of fluid movement that feels good. So maybe making some circles in the body, one direction, and then the other direction. And whenever you're finished with your movement, no rush, just return back to center. And we'll make our way into our first yin pose, which will be a banana asana. So come to face forward on the mat and start to roll down onto your back. Maybe rock the knees side to side a couple times if that feels good. And then stretch those legs out long and bring those arms reaching up above your head. Now we'll shift the hips a little to the left and start to crawl those feet over to the lower right corner of the mat, and then the upper body over to the upper right corner of the mat. And you can stay like this. If you want to go deeper, you can cross that left ankle over the right. Maybe grab hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Option to take hold of opposite elbows instead if that feels better for you. So creating a really big opening in this left side body. And really try to imagine the breath really moving through that left side body. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. Taking one last deep breath. And slowly letting it go, uncrossing those ankles, letting go of the wrists, and bringing the body back to center. And just pause in stillness at the center for a couple of moments before we move into that other side. And whenever you're ready, start to shift the hips over to the right. Bring the feet over to the lower left corner, and then the upper body over to the upper left corner. So you're in that banana-like shape. Option to cross the right ankle over the left, and maybe grab hold of the right wrist with the left hand. And then breathe really deeply into that right side body. And notice the space you're creating within the body. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. And on your last deep breath, slowly releasing the pose, uncrossing the ankles, letting go of the wrists, and returning back to center. Again, pausing for a couple moments. And then draw those knees into the chest, maybe rocking a couple times side to side. Then whenever you're ready, we'll roll back up into a seated position. So we'll come to a seat with the legs out long to prepare for a half butterfly. Start to bring the sole of the right foot to that left thigh. If this feels like enough of a stretch, that's great. You can stay here. If you'd like to go a little further, begin to reach those arms up to the sky and fold forward over that left leg. And this time, really creating space in that left hamstring. And try to let the spine soften, let the head drop, just melt into this pose. And take one last deep breath here. And slowly start to crawl back up that left leg, keeping the legs in the same position. We'll do a little counter twist to the side. So bring the left hand to the right knee, reach the right fingertips behind you, spine tall. And take a couple breaths here in this twist, looking back over that right shoulder. And on your last breath, slowly begin to shift forward and then release that right leg, maybe shaking out those legs a little bit. And then returning back to stillness, and we'll make our way into that other side. So this time you're going to grab the sole of the left foot and place it on that right thigh. You can stay here. If you want to go for that forward fold, reach those arms up to the sky and then start to fold over that right leg. Maybe noticing the difference between the two sides. I know for me, this side definitely feels tighter. And try to let that spine soften, let the back round, creating space in that right hamstring. And take one last breath in this half butterfly. Then start to slowly crawl those fingertips back up the right leg if you are folding forward. Keeping the legs in this position. We'll do that twist on this side now. So bring the right hand to the left knee. Draw the left fingertips behind you. And look over that left shoulder for a couple breaths. And on your last breath, returning back to center. You can let that left leg go now, maybe shaking out those legs. And then getting there however you like will come to meet in a tabletop position. So in tabletop, you can begin to take a couple cat-cows if that feels good. Again, going for any kind of fluid movement that feels good in the body. And return back to stillness whenever you're ready. And we'll make our way into a melting heart pose. So you really want to try to keep those knees and hips stacked on top of each other. And start to walk the fingertips towards the front of the mat. And then start to draw the chest down. Maybe the forehead touches the mat. I've been really liking the variation lately where you grab hold of the top of the mat with your fingers. Creates an even deeper shoulder opening. Just finding whatever works for you. And if you feel any tingling or pain in the arms, you can spread them wider across the mat. So just finding the position that feels best in your body. So again, this is helping us elongate the side body while creating a really deep shoulder and upper back opening. And take a couple more breaths here. And on your last breath, remaining low to the ground, and slowly slide back into a child's pose with the knees together and the arms reaching out behind you. Just noticing the effects of that pose on the body. I know that one felt particularly intense for me today. And each day is different. And take one last breath in child's pose. And then start to slowly crawl back up, taking your time. And walking those hands back into your tabletop position. Feel free to take any kind of movement that feels good in the body, just for a breath or so. And then return back to stillness. And we're going to make our way into a variation of dragon pose. So whenever you're ready, start to step that right foot outside both of the hands. And we're going to try to lean over to the side today in this variation. So if you'd prefer to stay in a regular dragon pose, that's great. That's totally fine. You can always come down to your forearms, stay on the hands. If you have blocks, you can place the blocks underneath the hands, just whatever works for you. If you really want to lean more into that side body, you can start to twist a little over to the left, then walk those hands out over to the left diagonal. So you're kind of creating a twist here, which can be pretty intense. It's already a pretty strong, deep hip opener. So just choosing what your body is needing today. And breathe deeply into those hips. And take one last breath in dragon pose, whichever variation you're in. We'll all meet back at the center. And really slowly, being really gentle here, start to shift the hips back. Maybe doing a little hamstring stretch for that right leg. And then come up into downward dog, just to release all of that. Maybe you want to pedal out the feet. Then return back to center, and we'll make our way to dragon on the other side from here. So step that left foot outside both of the hands, and you can just stay in this regular dragon pose. That's great. Choosing whatever kind of arm variation that works for you. If you want to go for that side stretch, you can start to walk the hands out to that upper right corner. And then breathing deeply, trying to let the head drop, trying to let the body soften in this kind of intense pose. And take one last deep breath here. Return your hands back to center if you had them out to the side. Then really gently draw those hips back, maybe pausing for a little hamstring stretch in that left side. And then sliding the left foot back to meet the right. Returning to that downward dog once again, just to release all of that. Maybe you want to pedal out the feet. And then slowly let that go whenever you're ready, bringing the knees back down to the mat and coming to a seat. And we'll come to a seat on facing the long ways of the mat. So you might know where we're headed, and that's going to be a straddle or a dragonfly pose. So from here, you can start to reach that left leg out to the corner of the mat and then bring that right leg out wide too. This is where if you have a pillow, bolster, blanket, it could be nice to sit up on that. But if you don't have that, all good. And this is already a really deep stretch, just sitting upright like this. So if you want to stay here, that is great. If you'd like to go a little further, you can start to walk those hands forward. Option if you have blocks to place a couple blocks in front of you for the head to rest on, which can feel pretty grounding. And option two, you can always bend your knees at any point, and it can feel nice to place blocks underneath the knees as well. So another really deep hip opening. Remembering your deep breath. We'll start to take a couple last breaths here. And then slowly, if you're folding forward, begin to walk those fingertips back up, remove any props, and really gently grab hold of those thighs, bringing the knees back to center. Maybe place the hands behind you. We'll take a couple windshield wipers, rocking from side to side. And whenever you're ready, come back to stillness, and we'll return actually back into that straddle pose with the left leg out long. And then we'll bring the right foot in towards that left thigh, so you have this triangle-like shape here. And you might want to grab one of your blocks and place it on the inner left thigh. We're going to go for a side bend here. So you can place your forearm on the block if that feels good. And start to reach the right arm up and over to the side. And maybe you grab hold of that right foot. Maybe release that block. So really deep opening for the side body here. And we won't hold this for as long. And take one last breath here. Slowly let that go. And crawl up to center. And we're just really easily going to switch legs. So drawing that left foot in towards you and then reaching that right leg out to the side. Option to place a block along the thigh for your forearm to rest on. And whenever you're ready, reaching that left arm up and then stretching it over to the side. And maybe you grab hold of that left or that right foot and really try to open up that body towards the sky. Take one last breath here. And slowly let it go, coming back up. Really taking your time, removing the block if you were using it. Then bringing that right foot back in to meet the left. An option to go for a couple windshield wipers here. Once again, rocking the knees from side to side. And whenever you're ready, no rush, pausing back at center. We'll come back to face the front of our mats. And then roll down onto our backs. Maybe hugging those knees into the chest. And then rocking from side to side. After you're finished with your movement, return back to stillness at center. And just pause here for a couple of breaths, really hugging those knees tightly into the chest. And we'll slowly let that go. Keep the right knee hugging into the chest, and then stretch the left leg out long. Bring the right arm out long into a T shape or cactus shape. And we'll come into a single leg twist. So drop that right knee over to the left. You can always place a block underneath the right knee if that feels good. And just enjoy the twist here. And take one more deep breath in the twist. And draw that right knee back to center. And then let it go. Pausing in stillness for a moment before we move to the other side. And so this time we'll keep the right leg out long and draw the left knee into the chest. Reach that left arm out into a T shape or cactus. And then start to draw that left leg over to the right side, Option to place a block underneath the left knee if that feels good. Breathe into the twist, creating space in the spine. And take one last breath in the twist. And then slowly return back to center and let that left leg stretch out long. If you're ready to move into Shavasana from here, you can just stay here. If you need any final poses or movement, definitely go for that now. So maybe you want to take a happy baby or a snail pose. No rush at all, just taking whatever the body is needing. And then whenever you're ready, coming to lie flat on your back for Shavasana, final resting pose. Just surrendering into the earth and noticing the spaciousness you've created in the body. And if you have time, I encourage you to stay in this Shavasana for as long as you like. But if you have to get going, this is where we'll close class. We'll close with one final breath. So exhale all the air out now. Take an inhale through the nose. And then a big sigh out the mouth. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you're feeling some more spaciousness in the body. You're feeling more length. And if you'd like to see more Yin Yoga practices like this, please subscribe to my channel. And let me know if you have any requests in the comments below. And I'll see you again next time.